Hello everyone, this is Nimish. Welcome back to my channel. We are going to talk about Thudarum today. This is the latest movie from the Malayalam film industry that is creating waves at the box office and has, killing all the collections right now, blockbuster status, and that is what we wanted, hoped for, expected, and Tharun Moorthy did deliver on this film. What an absolutely thoroughly entertaining film that has beats of various genres combined together to give us a performance by Mohanlal that sort of brings back that title, the complete actor Mohanlal, because he has shown a complete performance in this movie, hitting all the Navras sort of elements and emotions, going from one pitch to another, one situation to another. I cannot reveal any spoilers, so I'm not going to say anything, but he has hit the various beats of human emotions all together in this one movie, and that just proves why he's such a fabulous actor. But we'll talk about Mohanlal in a second. I think that the most interesting part about this movie is how engaging the screenplay was. It did not for a second make it feel like it's boring, it's laggy, it's dragged, it's overextended, overindulgent. No such thing. Everything was straight up on point from scene one to the last scene. You were glued to your seats, glued to the screen, and could not take your eyes off what's going on. And that is driven by the amazing writing and characterization. So great job in that department. And I think, of course, it is backed and enhanced by amazing performances. We have Mohanlal, we have Shobana, we have Binu Pappu, we have George, we have all of these actors and subplots, Farhaan Faasil as well. All of these actors, the subplots, the characters, that each and every one of them has a distinct identity that's very well etched out and built up to a point that you are extremely engaged in the plot. Because if one or two characters were not performing the way they were, or were slightly over the top, or did not hit the beats well, you would probably step out of the world that Tharun Moorthy has created. And he has created a fantastic world, not letting you get out of it for even a second. Right from the start, where we open to a landslide, wondering what happened and what's going on and how this affects all the characters, to building up Shanmugan and his life, his family, his car, his relationships, his friendships, building up all of that, and then getting into sort of changing gears and going into the next zone of the plot, which I cannot reveal, is incredible. It was an absolute treat to watch. And any movie, you really want one major thing from it, is that it is extremely entertaining and satisfying from start to finish. You don't feel like this is over the top, this is melodramatic or any such thing. You don't want to feel like this was poorly written, lazy writing, lazy character arcs, lazy storytelling, all of that. Everything, including the fight scenes in this movie, are absolutely entertaining and engaging, and that is the biggest victory of this film, and I think is what drove this film to the level of success that it did, because audiences are just glued to the screen. You cannot stop watching the amazing magic that has been created on this screen. Now, of course, talking about the complete actor Mohanlal, Lalitan has done a absolutely incredible job as always, but it's something that we haven't seen him do in a while. We've not seen him being the mischievous self that he was in many comedies that he's known for from the 80s or 90s, where he's playful, he's funny, he's humorous, he's lighthearted, he's jolly. All of these, fun sort of elements that we were missing, we didn't see that. We have not seen intense emotion from him, the kind of emotion that makes you sort of shakes you up as the audience, that affects you deeply, that makes you emote and resonate with the person that directly. That kind of an emotional arc was not given to him. Shanmugan is a more emotional character. He expresses happiness, he expresses joy, he cannot control but expresses emotion when required. And we can see how Shanmugan, the character, is fully absorbed by Mohanlal in this film. One other thing that I really liked about this movie in the writing, which I keep focusing on, is how the Shanmugan used to be a fight master or a fight director or a stunt director or a fight man in movies. I want to commingle those words all together, but he used to basically do fights in movies. This makes so much sense because later on, when there is an action sequence, it immediately connects that he knows what fighting is, he knows what action is, he knows how to fight. It's not like a random guy in most other movies that has never fought before but suddenly starts hitting so many people. This makes sense. It is logical very direct logic that this guy can fight because he used to be a fight master. That's literally what he did for a living, is designing how to kick 30 people together and how that looks like and what it looks like, and he's trained and all of that. So I thought that was a very intelligent plot point, because we don't go into the past, and that doesn't matter much as to what he did in the past, but when the fights start, you immediately are like, oh, that makes so much sense. So again, a lot of credit to the writing here. Another thing that the movie did well from a writing perspective was, for a lot of the twists and turns, for some reason and somehow the film kept you engaged but not guessing. The film did not make you feel like you have to guess what happens next. You have to keep guessing who it is, why it is, what it is. It was so engaging in whatever was going on that you just followed the story. And that is why some of the twists and turns that come, or the plot points that are revealed, are even more impactful, because you weren't guessing. At least I wasn't. I was just watching what's going on, going along with the characters, the situations, the ups and downs. Not for more than a moment or so I was trying to guess the motives, guess the twists and turns, guess what's going to happen next. I was just watching, and they just kept coming to me while I was on this journey. And that, I think, I've very rarely seen in many movies that claim to be emotional thrillers, action thrillers, family thrillers, suspense movies, whodunits, all these kind of mystery movies. You always end up thinking, who can it be? Who can it be? Is it this one? Is that one? You start over analyzing the characters, over analyzing the situation. Your brain is now in detective mode in those movies, and you're not fully engaged in what's on screen. You're constantly trying to guess. And I think somehow this movie just took away all the guesswork. It just kept playing and you kept going with it. And suddenly you're like, oh, I didn't think about this, or like I didn't expect that to be a twist or that to happen. And then that just goes to show how important writing is and how everyone should spend all that time and effort in writing. Mohanlal mentioned in one interview it took 6 to 8 years. Is that right? I don't know if he misspoke, but he said it took years to write this film because they wanted to get it right. And imagine the result that we are seeing now, because they spent that time and effort trying to crack the perfect script for this film. It shows on screen and it is absolutely stunning. There are some very amazing choices as well. For example, at the start of the film, the way the title card Mohanlal rolls, I don't want to say anything, but whatever's on screen and when the name Mohanlal comes, different feeling altogether. And towards the end as well, I just think the way they have used every element here is fantastic. I also think Tharun Moorthy has thrown in some elements to remind us of some great movies and performances of Mohanlal from the past. So there's some sort of, elements and words and phrases that are used that will remind you of other films, which I thought was pretty cool because it's very naturally thrown in there. It's not like for the sake of the audience, for the sake of the fans, for the sake of the fanboyism and all of that, just to make it happen, which I think in RR they tried to overdo that a bit and that didn't work. But over here, it's very naturally like slightly thrown in here and there to remind us of some of those things. And it's just fantastic. I just think everything about this movie was so good. Shobana did an incredible job as expected, as always. I think Binu Pappu was absolutely killer. I always liked him, but in this movie, taken his own career to the next level here with this kind of a performance. Fantastic. And George, which I read up about the actor, and I don't know if I'm saying his real name or the inspector's name, but George, the other inspector who is a first time actor in movies, who was an art director before, has done an incredible stellar performance, especially to stand up, to Mohanlal, to that level of a performance, that extent of the performance. Really, really good performance by him, and everyone will enjoy his performance. If you haven't watched the film yet, if you have watched it, you are probably smitten by this new actor as well, and hope to see him more in many, many more films doing such incredible roles. Cinematography is on point. Music is killer. It is so well blended in the movie that you don't even realize, and that's the best kind of background music, where you don't realize there is, until you realize later that there was this amazing background music that stays with you after the film. And so, good job on every single department. I think that they took time to make this film, to write it, to deliver it, and it came out at a point after the hype of Empuran and everything still running high. Success of Empuran just came on OTT. Mohanlal still fresh in everyone's minds in that mega success of Empuran, which did have its share of mixed reactions, but now coming up with a small family drama type film that is so incredible. And just greater than every expectation ever. It's fabulous, fabulous. And unfortunately, if I talk more about the details of the script or which scene I liked, it'll be getting into spoilers. So, not going to say that, but as you can tell from my review, this was one of the most valuable performances of Mohanlal in recent times that you should go check out. And the movie itself by Tharun Moorthy lives up to the Tharun Moorthy style of filmmaking and expectation as well. So do watch Thudarum. Absolutely fantastic. Going with 4.5 stars for this movie. Loved it, loved it. Keep them coming. Keep more such movies coming. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and comments below. And until next time, like, comment, share, subscribe, and keep watching for much, much more.